What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the West Coast Pop Reviews. Shout out to all the poppers, the floppers, the rampagers. It is your boy, the Final Boss Knock, and Hollywood Zach, bringing you Daredevil season premiere, episode 1 and 2. Very excited to get back into this. This is one of the first Marvel shows to hit the Netflix era and bring TV MCU to light. It was loosely on the MCU back then, but now it's fully in there with a whole bunch of references and full on Disney Plus right now. So you had Daredevil, you had Iron Fist, it was there. Jessica Jones, and of course, Luke Cage. So a lot of cool stuff there. But Daredevil's the first one to jump over and be on Disney Plus. We've seen him debut in the MCU in a Spider-Man movie, which was really cool to see him in there. And now he's fully out here. So we've seen a lot from Kingpin as well. Now he's running for mayor. There's a lot going on here. Like we do these reviews, if you guys have any Easter eggs or stuff you want to throw our way in the comments, let us know. We're going to go over everything we can from episodes 1 and 2. So hit those comments. Let us know what you think. Very excited to talk about this again. Very excited to be back with you guys. Zach, how are you doing?
I'm good. It was a small caveat here. I have never finished the Daredevil series on Netflix because I didn't have Netflix the whole time. So my opinion is going to be pretty biased on that. So Knock, you finished it. Everyone in the chat who's finished it, feel free to correct me on some things. But that is where I'm coming from as someone who's viewing the show as kind of new to the Daredevil franchise.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, Daredevil wasn't one of my favorite superheroes. I was on my radar. He was cool in like some guest appearances here and there. This Netflix show, I got to tell you, man, I was obsessed. It was incredible. Fight scenes. These had one of the greatest one-shot fight scenes of all time, bro. This show was incredible. Really good. I love the characters. I love the chemistry. I know people kind of bashed Karen Page back then. I still enjoyed Karen Page. I forget his name in real life, but the guy playing Matt Murdock is incredible. He was born to play this role. He's absolutely just insane. So I got to give a shout to him. Rosario Dawson used to be in a show. She crossed over. She's the one who connected all the Marvel Netflix shows. She crossed over. Yes. All the different episodes. We had her. And then another big shout out, obviously, was Kingpin. Amazing Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio, been killing it. Elektra, who I hope to see in here. Elektra that's the best version of Elektra I've ever seen. So the Netflix show had a lot of great stuff, man. The fight scenes are incredible. The dialogue is really good. So I was a big fan of it. I watched all 3 seasons. I forget the gist of why it got canceled and what happened. I'm sure it was some Marvel stuff. Want to get their stuff off Netflix. But Punisher season 2, I believe, and Daredevil season 3 all got super rushed. They combined like 2 seasons worth of stuff into one, and it got very muddied because they knew it was going to be canceled ahead of time, and it threw it all off. So now we're jumping right back into this with some loose ends from the previous season. So this is Born Again. So yes, some new viewers will get a nice glimpse into the people, but it's also taken a lot of baggage, if you will, from the old show. So we'll get into it. Zach, any thoughts before we jump right in?
This is very far from the Born Again comic series in the late 80s. What I understand is that Born Again comic line was season 3 of the Netflix show. So if you're familiar with season 3 and that comic line, please feel free to connect the dots on here for us and let us know. But I know the gist of that storyline. This is 100% not it, but I understand why they're taking the Born Again title.
Yeah, and again, again, it makes sense, for marketing as well.
Yeah,
Zach's gonna bring all his comic knowledge. I'll bring my knowledge from the Marvel Netflix shows, and we'll jump into this. At the end of these, we'll do it like out of 5 stars. Nice little rating.
That's good.
We'll have a nice rating, so jump in and let us know what you guys think for this episode. But to begin with, the band is back together. Nelson Murdock Page, having the laughs, taking a night out on town, man. It started too happy, and for a show like this, you knew it was about to go down. It was good to see them all 3 together because I don't think we'll see them again together like in this sense. So starting out, they're going off to a bar. Cherry, who I don't remember too much from the first Daredevil. I don't know if he was in there. He's about to retire. It's all smiles and giggles. The new lawyer. Do you remember her name, Zach?
No, because I didn't see season 3.
Okay, well, we'll get on to her. I'll try to get her name. But she was Foggy was trying to flirt with, and Karen and Matt were making fun of him. So it's all happy and smiles, Zach. To start the show, the tone and everything. I'm glad I didn't do the She-Hulk tone, but to start it off, building up, how'd you feel?
So I knew that this was supposed to be the She-Hulk tone, and that's why it got rewritten.
Yep.
Then we get into this, and I'm like, holy crap, these are all characters I don't know, and I just watched the first season. This is going to be a long 2 episodes. And it was.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I liked the build up, and I did understand that if you're a returning Daredevil viewer, this is really sweet. This is really great build up for it, bringing in all these different characters at the bar. I just have to ask a question. They're out of Hell's Kitchen, right?
Yes. So they're out of it. I think this is like their return back. This is kind of like, oh, we haven't been here in a while. We'll be here for a little bit.
Why did they leave Hell's Kitchen?
That's what I'm still a little fuzzy on. I got to remember that. I know.
From a perspective, I just think it's very odd to take him out of that.
They tease it a little bit. Matt and Foggy went separate ways. They had a huge falling out. Foggy did not like Matt being Daredevil. So I think that kind of they went separate ways that way, and Foggy was out of there. So Matt had no point in staying with that firm because he didn't have his partner no more. I remember something like that. Also, he kind of technically sort of died for a little bit there after the end of Defenders. So he might have been his rent probably wasn't paid. I'm trying to remember some of the stuff. I'm trying to remember some of the stuff before it ended. So that's kind of what happened there. If anyone wants to clear up some of that, let us know.
Yeah, but it was nice. It was a nice scene, though.
Yeah.
And if you hear pages, I'm just kind of looking for stuff in the Marvel Encyclopedia since I do not have the internet right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been incredible. And, of course, like, leading to this scene, we go from the very happiest of stuff to closing up the pins in the end. Bullseye. Matt, I felt for Matt here because he went to go help the guy in need, but while doing so, he left his friend vulnerable. Now, this is one of the things I actually did get spoiled on before I watched. It was a huge thing, being talked about. Foggy gets blasted by Bullseye himself, the man that doesn't miss. And as messy as the last season of Daredevil was, I thought the way they did Bullseye was really good. They showed a lot of his like OCD tendencies, like some of his scenes by himself, like the way they painted up Kingpin in the first season and gave him like a lot of stuff. They kind of started to do that with Bullseye in the last season. It was just too much rush. But I thought the guy did really well. Now, besides that, he just blasts one of our favorite characters, some people's favorite characters. And I heard a lot of controversy about this. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Zach, but Foggy's not supposed to die. He's supposed to outlive everybody in the Daredevil universe.
I didn't know that. But it's funny because he's coming back in season 2.
What?
Yes. Him and Karen will be back in season 2. So I don't know how that works. I don't know. So why are they giving this stuff away? And why is the guy who plays Matt Murdock saying he's the one that tipped me off on the spoiler? Why are we teasing these spoilers before the show airs? I don't know. That's a little bit of a red flag for me for the show.
I'll tell you guys this. Once we get to next week's episode 3 review, I will have a lot more information. I will finish my watch through again of the original Daredevil and be up to speed with certain things. But yeah, Foggy's not supposed to die. He's supposed to outlive everybody in the comics. Even when like Matt dies, or a lot of people die, he's the one who's still there. So this was an interesting turn to take it on upon this way. I'm fine with it. It's a TV show. It's a different take on it. It's exposing to a large audience. And it set the tone right away. Again, I'm kind of done with the reluctant hero story, though. So Matt not wanting to be Daredevil and kind of shelling it away. Listen, I came here for Daredevil. I tuned in to watch the show, the superhero. I don't want to be. I don't want to do it, for a few episodes. This better not last.
This is every superhero show almost. So I agree with you 100%. Everyone does this bit. So
I'm kind of done with that bit, man. But yeah, and then I felt every bit of it because, like, he's hearing his best friend die while he's whooping this dude, and Bullseye throwing knives all over him. Man, I enjoyed what the scene was supposed to be. I enjoyed watching it, but coming from the Netflix show, that fight choreography was so smooth. It was so sharp, and it felt real. There's a lot of moments in this opening scene where he was, swinging around. And even doing the fight scenes, it didn't feel completely real. So it took me out a bit.
I agree. And this shot right here that you have up is one thing that took me out. I really like it. It's a beautiful shot, but they spend too long from when he dropped the helmet. I know I'm nitpicking, but too
Mhm.
long from when he dropped the helmet and the guy realized it was him as Daredevil.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
that thing would have hit the ground, and then it went to this. But it's fine. It's just like little things like that with the editing and knowing that this show got kind of retooled 100% almost halfway through filming. These are things I just start to notice after I guess knowing too much of how hot dogs are made.
Yeah. So hopefully, when we get more back to him wanting to be Daredevil, we get some stronger fight scenes. Again, it was still really good, and I liked the imagery and I liked what it represented, like how he was fighting and really losing his cool because he's listening to his
Yeah,
best friend die. But I thought it could have been a little sharper. Um,
yeah.
yeah, and my boys lost. They said I think a year's time had passed from where they get to present day when we pick back up with the show and when Foggy got clipped. But Matt's completely done with Daredevil. Cherry, who was going to retire as a police officer, who again I don't remember him too much from the first season, first Netflix season of Daredevil. I don't know if he was on there or not. He's now part of Matt's group and his law firm, and now it's Matt, the new character. I got to get her name. I can't believe I'm blanking out her name. Kirsten McDuffie. She's the other lawyer. So now it's their practice and Cherry's kind of, I guess, in the Karen Page role. You know, he's a former cop.
Mhm.
He's kind of the investigator, kind of find the information for them. So that's pretty interesting to see. And it looks like they have a bigger firm.
Yeah, I feel killing Foggy and everything else in this new firm is going to lead to where they want him, whether it's going to be a team up in Spider-Man 4 or more street level stuff so they can carry on without the Netflix stuff.
That's the thing too. Like, it's so all over the place right now because I'm trying to remember. Like, I just seen him laughing his ass off in She-Hulk and having a great time, and we're back to this. It's interesting. I'm still on the ride. I'm still on board, but it's an interesting dynamic.
Where did that take place?
That's
If
a
he
good
was
point.
not,
When did it
where,
happen? I don't know. I
where did
don't
it take
know.
place?
Someone let us know that.
Wasn't he with someone when he was with She-Hulk? And then, and if he's not Daredevil, but he's Daredevil there, and
He's been
I
ever.
don't know.
He was flirting with Karen Page in here again. He was with
Yep.
Night Nurse. My boy got with She-Hulk. Obviously with Elektra.
I mean, that's cool, get around, but I mean, I'm just trying to figure out where everything lines up here.
Yeah.
That's the only issue I'm trying to figure out.
So yeah, let us know. Fill in some blanks here in the chat, man. And then yeah, going back to that fight scene again. I'm glad they had Bullseye in here to wrap that up because I don't think he probably got
Yeah.
wrapped up in the original because it was so rushed. Punisher got it the worst. Punisher was very hard. That was like watching 2 seasons in one, which was not good, and it could have been good. Like Game of Thrones. That's a different story.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so years pass. Karen and Matt finally see each other. So if this what you told me is true, and she's not gonna be in the rest of the season, that's gonna be kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't know her status for the rest of the season. They're just again, everyone is already on the studios. This is all on the studios already announcing this stuff. Hey, she'll be back next season. She's already cast. Matthew Lillard is part of next season. Cool, but why are you like telling us this stuff as season one is just airing now? Like, save this stuff so we know the people's story arcs. Like you said, are we going to be surprised now that she's not in the rest? Is she going to surprise us and come in the last episode? Just little things that make me question what's going on with the series.
Yeah. So as we're moving on through episode 1, we get introduced to another new character. You know, for Daredevil fans or for comic fans, we all know Daredevil with She-Hulk. We all know Daredevil with Elektra. But a lesser known love interest, someone who he almost married in the comics, that
Yeah.
is the Heather Glenn, who's played by Margarita. I'm not gonna butcher her last name. She was in The Acolyte, I believe.
Okay.
I thought it was a really good start to introduce the character. I think they have really good chemistry together as well. This is a setup, a blind date by Matt's new partner, Kirsten McDuffie. I'm interested to see how this goes. In the comic, she's more of a rich girl, who her father kind of has a few shady dealings to get the money, and they have a lot of they have a run-in with the Purple Man. So he kind of controls her father, and that leads to some of the tragedies that she has with Matt and some misunderstandings, and that's why it goes kind of south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's. There's so much her character and a couple other characters. There's like a level that no one can pass emotion wise acting, and I think that's another issue I have with this this version of Daredevil is just Matt at the beginning when Foggy died, that's an exception, but there's just a level, and everyone's at this level or below emotion wise, and it's just a very like down mellow show for me. So since I'm not invested because I haven't seen the last 2 seasons of Daredevil, it's very tough for me to get invested just by watching this. So this is another character too that is just like introduced, and she's cool if you know the comic stuff, but otherwise it just seems like another paint by numbers character.
Yeah. I will say though, I think Deborah Ann Wool, who was also in the God of War games that you refused to play, she killed it at the beginning. I thought her scene with Foggy, having that, I thought she had a good emotional scene there. I will say that.
It was good, yeah.
And then, so yeah, with this scene, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, I think she's gonna have a bigger role considering we'll just skip to it. Episode 2 ends with her being a new therapist for Kingpin and his wife.
Yeah.
So her role is she's probably gonna be in some danger pretty soon. I'd imagine her, and Matt finding out some secret identities at some point. But I'm curious to see how this goes. I like how they introduced the character, knowing some of her backstory and then watching some of the other ones. But once Elektra gets in here, she's gonna get the boot.
Yep. They kind of already said is coming back next season too.
Yes,
so
sir. We'll see how that goes. And then Wilson Fisk as the new New York mayor. How does that fit? How does that work for you? How do you like seeing this man who seemingly survived dying from Echo, survived dying from the Hawkeye series? He keeps coming back, man.
He does. I'm fine with it because I love Wilson Fisk. I love D'Onofrio as Kingpin. There's just 2 things that just bother me again about this episode, or these 2 episodes. One is his voice is very specific and unique how he does the voice.
Yeah.
Don't give him long monologues because then the voice starts to sound weird to me, personally. So when they're in the diner scene was way too long because then he just sounds, I don't know. He does these tics, which are great for the character, which makes him have a little bit of vulnerability. But now he does it too much in these longer scenes, and it takes away from some of the oomph of Kingpin. The other thing about it is when you're doing all this mayor stuff, I'm just so sick of like the Trump comparisons and the Trump campaigns when you have all these people with the hats on in the street. Mm-hmm. I'm just a little sick of it, and I know this lines up with comic stuff and it's necessary for the show, but it's just a little too close to election time for me. I'm just kind of like, it's enough, man. I've seen it. Let's move on. So I just have to kind of like block all that out while I watch Mr. Fisk here being there.
Yeah, it's interesting. They always give him these vulnerable moments, like you said, like this before it was Echo being like his, supposed to be kind of like his daughter character. But and then another time it's been his wife the whole time as well. On a side note, kind of looks like also be this other characters on his campaign. That new guy from I think he was hyping up Staten Island. I'll forget his name though. I have to catch it out. But he does have these vulnerable moments.
James Gandolfini's son, yeah.
Oh, okay. He has these moments, and then he goes straight back to that villainous role. You think, he might be making a turn, and then he threatens the police commissioner's kid. Stuff like that. I enjoy. He does it so casually,
yes.
And it seems like the other guy that's on his campaign trail is in the know of who he really is, and that's who he keeps close to the vest. Kind of like season 1, he had that guy. I forget his name, but he had the glasses, he had the computer. He was so locked in as being Fisk number 1.
Yeah.
Right-hand man. So that's kind of this new guy seems to be. The other thing too, I think you said, shorten up some of the monologues for sure. I think might be a good idea. I did enjoy when he did win, and they were kind of giving his speech, and there was kind of panning out to different parts of the city and people's reactions. I thought it was very menacing. He sounded like a complete villain, and I did enjoy that. So I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, and adding that big Times Square scene too, like that again, very well done, and just shows the impact that he has.
Yeah. So yeah, Fisk, good to see him back again. Again, the new pairing of Kirsten McDuffie and Matt Murdock. The lawyers who are about to, this is more towards episode 2. Matt's about to defend someone who we find out to be who's the White Tiger.
So was he in any other Daredevil stuff?
I don't remember seeing him in there. I don't.
Okay. So,
but the last season is a little fuzzy for me, so I could have missed it, but I don't remember seeing him.
Okay. But I do like this. I like this addition to it. I like the fact that he's going to defend it, and they put the thing in there where he seems favoring because he's another vigilante. Mm-hmm. So I like that and they're adding this courtroom concept to it because I do want that as part of Daredevil.
I do too, man. And again, he's a good lawyer. It shows a different side of him, and it breaks up some of the action. I mean, we've seen him try to defend Spider-Man, so now he's defending another hero. So that's kind of what he does. He defends certain heroes. He does it in the comics, so it's kind of cool to see that play out a little bit more. That was a bit of a surprise to me for the episode. I didn't expect to see the guy. I knew he was hiding something, especially because Matt was talking about that. I didn't know it'd be this, so that was kind of cool to see. What else happened here? So we'll see how it plays out, man. I thought episode 2 was really good, still as well, a little shorter than episode 1. I hope we keep getting these 1 hour episodes, though. I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, the lengths are out there for each episode. They're mainly around 45 minutes.
Okay. But yeah, we get this court scene here, and we can tell the judge is not having any of it. He denies bail. I think his name's Hector Ayala in the show.
Yes.
He's getting beat up left and right, so we don't know how much time he has to last in prison, but denied bail, accused of killing a cop. We'll see how Matt gets out of this, but I don't think Matt can get out of this situation without putting the mask on, man. That's what we came to here to see. Put the mask on. Get the info yourself.
Right. What is going to be the main thing for him to get to put the mask back on?
Yep. And I'm sick of these characters in his inner circle telling him, "You're a better guy now. You don't need to do this anymore." I didn't come to see him doing this. I came to see Daredevil. I'm not watching just Suits. I'm watching the man beat him up. This is not just Suits. This is Batman. This is Daredevil. This is what I want to see. So
exactly. And this is right now, the show is seeming a little too Law and Order for me than it is Daredevil.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out, man. But again, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm pretty thrilled to see how it goes. I did see, some of the season, I think it was the IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or something, saying this was a lower rating than the other few Daredevil seasons. I'm not buying into it, man. I'm still hyped on the hype train, so we'll see how it goes.
All right. I do believe there's some stigma from past Marvel Disney shows that people put on this one.
Yeah. Was there anything else from episode 1 or 2 that caught your eye?
I think we touched on it again. Just a lot of it's very slow for me, and just jumping in to this is just very odd. Just the White Tiger, the one that I'm familiar with, I think she's in the early 2000s. It's his niece, so we'll see if she comes into play as the new White Tiger. And then mentioning in his acceptance speech, getting rid of vigilantes, when Kingpin mentioned people that wear a spider on their costume, mentioning Spider-Man without mentioning Spider-Man. We won't get Spider-Man in any TV series just because Sony owns the rights. So if anyone wants to just kind of like put that in the back of their head, that's why they might be working on Daredevil 4, Spider-Man 4, but he cannot appear in these shows. But then the one thing I do have a question on, and this is comic kind of accurate, if they put more policemen out there with a Punisher symbol on their wrist. Was this the first time that we saw someone other than the Punisher with a symbol on them?
It's the first time I think I remember seeing that.
Okay. That is part of a comic storyline, so we'll see where that plays out in Born Again.
I mean, we do know John Bernthal is available and potentially debuting or returning in this show, so there's a lot they can do here, man. I just hope they don't put too much to cram in it. I hope that everything has a nice story and we can let it breathe, and we'll see how it goes. But pretty solid opening, I think. And then last thing, since you did remind me, another character who was chronicling Fisk's journey to become the mayor was the one who actually interviewed him, BB Urich, who was mentioned she's the niece of the former journalist of the same, I think, Ben Urich, original Daredevil, who I'm almost positive I've ever seen Fisk kill him in his own home and walk out.
So again, that storyline is part of the original Born Again comic line. So that in season 3 was more towards this, but I do like that they do bring in BB in here and continue that, because again, what I saw online for season 3, that was like the ultimate villain move from Fisk.
Yeah, so I'm hoping we'll see some more from her as well. Another strong character. This is going to be an interesting season. This is just the first 2 episodes. We're going to be doing this every Wednesday, reviewing these episodes. If you guys have any Easter eggs for us, let us know. There wasn't too much I caught as far as Easter eggs. Just a little thing he had mentioned with the Heather Glenn character, BB Urich, and Foggy, who is supposed to not ever die in the Daredevil universe. Besides that, I don't know if you guys caught any of that, but Zach, I think for me, I don't know if you're ready to give your rating. I think I'm going to give it a nice 3.5 out of 5.
3.5 out of 5, okay.
I thought season 1 or episode 1 was strong. 2 was a nice little filler episode, got some more information in there. I'm hoping they come out swinging with episode 3.
I agree. I'm going to be generous and give it a 3, even though personally I'll say it's a 2.5. But I understand building upon with the fans carrying over 1 from this. So I understand that. I know I'm nitpicky during this, but I'll give it a 3 because they did do a good job, especially at the beginning, weaving everyone back in. I like the new additions. But again, it's so every other lawyer show on network television that is kind of boring me. I want Daredevil in the costume. Let's get to it. Let me get to the shit. Let me that's what I'm here for, man. And if you're setting up Kingpin to be the main villain of Spider-Man 4 with a Daredevil battalion, cool, but start dropping some Easter eggs so I stick around for the whole series.
Yeah. I mean, he's the mayor in Spider-Man's neck of the woods, so that'd be very interesting if they can build towards that, man. That'd be really cool.
It would be.
I think the last thing for me here, just tune in every Wednesday. We'll have these reviews. Let us know what your star rating is.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes, man. Let's get to the popping things off, man. Get to the fighting. But
2 out of 9 episodes, man. We got 7 more to go.
Yeah, and I think we'll get some of these weeks. We're getting multi-episodes, if I read that correctly.
Yes.
All right, so you guys heard it here, man. 3.5 from the final boss, 2.5, but 3 from Hollywood Zach. We'll see you guys next week for Daredevil. And we might have some updated graphics for you guys. So keep an eye out on the channel, man. Appreciate everyone who jumps in. Peace out, y'all.